Hello and welcome to the TGA Pristine Podcast, where we discuss everything from the trading card community to the company itself that grades your favorite collectible cardboard. Grab your sleeves and top loaders, it's time to rip into the show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pristine Podcast with your boys Quick Trigger
and Darkest Night.
And today we have a little bit of a twist on the show. We decided to come up with some questions for one another, kind of like in the form of like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it's not going to be like a set like you're like winning money and like the questions get harder as they go. It's going to be kind of like a range of just different random questions that we formulated for each other, and they're going to be kind of like seeing like who out of the two of us knows one another the best when it comes to like card collecting, grading, like that kind of stuff. So we each compiled a set of 10 questions for each other, and we're going to be kind of like alternating, going back and forth on seeing who can figure out the most about each other when it comes to collecting cards. And I think, Jordan, I will let you have the floor, and you can ask the first question.
All right. Appreciate it, Ryan. Good luck. Some of these are definitely not like super common knowledge. I do expect you to get at least some of these right, also because most of this is based on Pokemon, since that was kind of like our beginnings with trading cards and collecting in general. And a lot of these kind of were based around, and not all of them, but a good portion. So I want to throw at you the question number one of the game show. For you is, when did Pokemon start making sets in Japan? So when did the first Pokemon set release in Japan? And your four options are 1997, 96, 98, or 95.
Oh, God. So, okay, just for starters, I thought this was going to be more questions about, like, each other as far as, like, cards and like collecting and stuff. I didn't know it was gonna be more general questions that you had, but it's fine. Okay, I'm gonna take a wild guess. I'm gonna go with 96.
Ding ding ding, that is correct. 1996 was the base set in Japan.
Nice.
So that is 1 pointerino for Ryan. I don't have something here to...
I was really contemplating between 95 and 96.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure like the cards had it printed like I remember them having like a 95 through 99 or 98 or something back then. I think that was just like the copyright for Pokemon in general, and
right.
So it kind of like throws you off. But yeah, all right, no, good job. That is 1 point for you, and the floor is now yours to ask me my first question.
Okay, so yeah, like I said, the way I formatted my questions was like I was trying to see how much you knew about like me as far as like collecting and like all that kind of stuff. So my questions might be sort of different compared to yours.
Well, that'd be good. We'll get a different mix of like generalized questions and then like personalized questions. I have like one or two personal questions as well.
Like most of mine, like pretty much almost all of mine are personal. So
yeah, that's totally fine. That'll be a good dynamic.
Yeah. Okay, so what did I collect the most when I was a kid? Was it Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, sports, or some other kind of cards?
As a kid, which you collected Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, sports, or other?
Mm-hmm.
As a kid, I don't think we had so much sports cards. Yu-Gi-Oh, we kind of played a little bit. Other cards, I'm gonna say Pokemon.
Yep. Yeah, it was Pokemon. I mean, I did have Yu-Gi-Oh cards too, but I definitely felt like I collected more of Pokemon because I also had like I had my childhood friend Rebecca that I used to go over to her house and like we would play Pokemon and stuff together. Like we would show each other our cards and we would, like trade and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I had like my own like little deck of just Pokemon cards, or I had like a binder that I put all my cards in and stuff. So yeah, it was definitely Pokemon for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured. I was trying to think back on, because I know the only time I got into sports cards was when I would hang out with Bennett, really, and he had like a plethora of them, and at one point I would even like get them from him to like sell and like split the money and stuff and try and find people online to buy our cards, and so that was like kind of my first experience with like getting those cards and then like wanting to collect them for our local sports teams. And But yeah, I definitely remember Pokemon being like the main thing that we had as kids, and Yu-Gi-Oh was like a little bit later, and like, that was probably the first one we actually like played instead of just collecting. 'Cause that was like a big part of the show, people playing with those cards, so it was like very visual. And
Right.
whenever you collected them, like, you also wanted to play with them and be like the characters in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But all right, well, I'll continue with my second question, which is again Pokemon related, and uh, going back to that base set of Pokemon, what was the first card in the original base set? The card that has a serial number in the set of 1. Was it Alakazam, Blastoise, Pikachu, or Venusaur?
Who had the card number of 1?
Yeah, what was the first card printed in that set?
And say the names again.
You have Alakazam, Blastoise, Pikachu, or Venusaur.
Who had the card number of 1? Hmm.
If you remember, because there's 102 total, and I'll always never forget that Charizard is number 4. Because I saw that
Right.
so many times at TGA, slapping up cards and grading. I'm just kept seeing that 4 out of 102 Charizard.
Because I think the way that they do it in Pokemon is that they number like the hollows different than like how they number the regular cards.
Hmm.
So like I want to say it'd be Pikachu, but like I don't think that's right. So I don't think it's Pikachu. I think it's either between Blastoise or Venusaur. 'Cause I definitely don't think it's Alakazam. So I'm probably gonna say it's Venusaur.
Ooh, your intuition was incorrect that time because it was actually Alakazam.
Ah, interesting.
Alakazam, for
Yeah,
some reason, was the first card printed for Pokemon in the base set.
yeah, it must have. Yeah, that must be like the first hollow or something.
Yep, it
Oh no.
is.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's Alakazam that got banned from being printed in Pokemon for a really long time. Because when I was at TGA, we worked with a guy that had lived in Japan for a couple years, and now who's living there fully with his wife again. And he had talked about how there was like a lawsuit that had gone down against Pokemon with this very famous, prominent comedian in Japan who was thought. So it could have been Alakazam, it could have been somebody else. But I'm pretty sure it's Alakazam. That like their
I think it
likeness.
was. I think it was Kadabra.
Oh, was it Kadabra? Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
so Kadabra was like taken after that person's likeness and like went based on their name, and so they kind of felt like they stole that character from them, and so it wasn't allowed to be printed for a really long time up until
Right.
recently. It kind of got disbanded, and I was like,
Yep.
huh, like, that is really interesting. Like I hadn't really heard about that one before in the Pokemon universe, and you don't really think about
Yep.
it because like so many sets get printed. There's so many Pokemon you start to forget, like, huh, yeah, this Pokemon didn't show up for a really long time, and so I thought that was kind of an interesting thing that had happened within Pokemon, and them not being able to print that character and the sets for that long.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, honestly, now that I think about it, I probably could have said Alakazam because it would have made more sense if it was like that was the first one, and then they had the 3 starters after. Yeah. So
Hmm.
that would have made more sense. Yep. All right. Second question for me is, well, I guess for you. So the Jigglypuff that I have graded, what set is it from? Is it from base set? Is it from Fossil? Is it from Jungle? Or is it from Neo Genesis?
This is the problem with sometimes when I think about a set, because as soon as you said that, I wanted to say fossils. I remember like the little like 4 sectioned off logo. So I know it's not base set, and I know it's not Neo. So I know it's between Jungle and Fossil. And I kind of get them mixed up because I think Fossil also has like the little like claw logo, and then Jungle I think would be something else that it's not. This is gonna be a rough 50-50 guess. Um, I because my gut wants me to say Fossil, but I'm gonna say Jungle.
Yep, it's Jungle.
Yes. All right. So because
Yeah, so Jungle has the little logo that like kind of looks like a flower. It's like a four-petaled
yeah,
like
that's what.
flower.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to me,
So
I always think jungle or like fossil for whatever reason. Like my brain kind of like switch like flip flop. So I have to like not go with my initial thought to remind myself like not it's not what you think it is. But then when you do
right.
that, you start to think like, well, it's what I thought it wasn't, and then so I just confused myself the whole time. But all right, cool. Yeah, I felt pretty confident between those two for sure. Um, all right, so now we're getting into a non-Pokemon question for this time, but we're going to get right back to it right after. This one's actually related to TGA, and
Okay.
I looked up the number right before this, so if it
Oh
changes,
boy.
don't blame me. So how many cards has TGA graded so far as of right now?
Oh
And
god.
we have 52,000, 51,000, 49,000, or 54,000.
Oh my god. Um, I'm gonna say 52,000.
You were just off by one. It was 51,000.
Ah,
It's like
I was also thinking that one.
51,044 or something I saw whenever I had just looked it up online, which is pretty nutsy. I can't remember if they made a post about hitting 50,000. I feel like that would have
I
been
want to
like
say they maybe did. I think they did like make something. I mean, they made some kind of social media post about grading 50,000. I'm pretty sure.
yeah, because I feel like I can
I
kind
could
of
be
remember
wrong, but
that. Like I kind of not, because I feel like I think they do one at every like 10,000 cards graded. They do like a little celebration
yeah,
post.
I knew. I had a feeling they were over 50,000. I just wasn't sure like where exactly
Hmm.
they were at. So
Which definitely makes
okay.
sense because I've been still within their group chats and seeing all the crazy business they've been getting at all the card shows that they've gone to every weekend, and them just getting really piled up with submissions, which it's a good problem to have. It causes some setbacks, of course, but I always love hearing that they're still doing very well and getting a lot of submissions and staying busy and being on top of everything. It's really great to hear and to open up those little chat boards and seeing them getting real hyped and excited. I know Mark always will like send encouraging messages to them and really amping them up to be on their A game when they're going in and to get a lot of work done because they have been taking it very seriously, everyone, and they really want to get people's cards out as soon as they can, and they're trying to um, stay with the volume that they've been receiving. I know they've hired a couple more workers to get them up and ready to start helping them out on the grading floor, and so it's really exciting to see where TGA is going and where it can end up later on. But yeah, Ryan, it looks like I think it's your turn to ask me the next question.
Alrighty. What is the first anime TCG I started collecting? Is it Demon Slayer, Naruto, Sword Art Online, or something else?
Let's see. First anime CCG that you collected. You got into Demon Slayer a little bit later after the fact. You started collecting cards again, so I want to rule that out. But I know like Sword Art was kind of like our first exposure with anime and like watching together and kind of like getting into that whole thing. So I know that would kind of be like a top priority for getting in the cards. But I also want to say Naruto because it's your number one and that's what you primarily sell on Whatnot. And nothing else really sticks out to me that you would want to collect. So I'm gonna say Naruto.
It's actually Demon Slayer.
Ooh, okay, wow. Hmm.
So yeah, so I knew about the Naruto cards. I just hadn't actually gotten into them yet at that point.
Okay.
And I was scrolling through Amazon when I was like searching for stuff. I was like searching to try to find cards to buy, and I saw this box for Demon Slayer cards, and it was like pretty like decently priced, and I was like, oh, and then I started like looking at the pictures of them because like this is when we like first started like watching the show. Like we had just finished like watching the first season and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it had just maybe started getting into the second season. I'm not sure if that actually started yet. Um, but I remember, yeah, I bought a box of Demon Slayer cards, and yeah, and that kind of like piqued my interest to start looking more into possibly getting some Naruto stuff. And so yeah, so Demon Slayer was pretty much the first one I actually started like really collecting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. Because there's a lot of times too, like you can probably tell with my like Funko collections, like I don't immediately go after all like my favorite characters or like instant things you would imagine I would get. Like I kind of am late to collecting a lot of like main Funkos or sets of shows and characters that I like. I'm kind of just go off the flow. If I find it in person, then I'll buy it, and if not, I don't really like have it in my mind to seek out and buy. So that makes sense. We all have our different like priorities and ways of buying things. That's pretty cool. Okay, my next one is going back to Pokemon, and it's another quantity question. It's kind of
Oh
noticing like
boy.
a lot of these are. So you'll have fun guessing all of these amounts. But maybe. Oh wait, okay. I take it back. The next one will be quantity. This one is actually just about the card itself. 'Cause
Okay.
I took out the price one. I'm because I was like, there's too many prices and numbers. All right. So this question is, what was the most expensive Pokemon card sale? So what card sold for the most in Pokemon? Was it the Pikachu Illustrator card, the Charizard Black Label, a Gray Stamp Charizard 10, or a first edition Air Blastoise?
I want to say it's the Pikachu Illustrator card.
That would be correct. It sold
Yep.
for a whopping $5.275 million.
Yep. Because I remember seeing something about that on Twitter about how that card became like the most like expensive card sold.
Yeah, because wasn't it
Um,
like Jake Paul that
with
bought
Logan
it?
Paul.
Logan Paul, okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't follow them on. I just know it was like a Paul brother, and I remember
Yeah.
him wearing it as like a chain necklace to like a boxing match or something.
Oh,
Um,
so that one was a Charizard.
oh, he did that for the
So
Charizard. Okay.
so yeah, so fun fact about that. So that guy, I think I want to say his name is Gary. It's like Gary the Pokemon guy. Like he's the one that brought all the Charizards to Pawn Stars, and they like denied like his like they denied his cards or whatever. Like all his like huge Charizard collection. Like they didn't want it because Rick didn't know enough about Pokemon or whatever,
Hmm.
and so he like turned down his collection. And I think at the time, I think his whole collection was appraising for like 420,000 or like somewhere around like 500,000 or something. It could have been more, but I want to say it was like less than like a million at the time. But like, and that was like years ago, and it was like
Yep.
worth that. Like, I mean, I can't imagine like what his whole collection is actually worth now. Like, it's probably like ridiculous. So Rick definitely dropped the ball on that one. But so yeah, so Logan actually flew out to meet him, and so they were hanging out and stuff. And Logan was like looking at his collection of all of his Charizards and everything, and saw that he had a lot of PSA 10s. I think he had like I don't even like at least a handful or so of PSA 10 first edition Shadowless Charizards, and Logan was like wanting to buy one from him. Um, and so they ended up like talking about it for a bit, and they finally worked out a deal. And so he was able to buy one of his PSA 10 Charizards. Well, then Logan decided to crack out the Charizard and then send it to Beckett, and then Beckett graded it a BGS 10. It wasn't a black label, but it was just a pristine 10. It was like one grade off from being a black label essentially.
Hmm.
Um, but apparently Gary said he had done that where he tried sending the Charizards to Beckett, and then pretty much almost all of them got 9.5s. And then so then he decided to take them and then send them to PSA, and they got 10s. So then he took one of the original Charizards that Gary had that he had already sent to Beckett a while ago, that ended up getting a PSA 10. So then he bought it from him, resubmitted it to Beckett, and then it ended up getting a Beckett Pristine 10. So that was the Charizard that he wore on that chain to that boxing fight against Floyd Mayweather. So that was like that whole thing, and then I remember seeing them post about how he went, like, I forgot like where I think he flew out of the country, I'm pretty sure, to buy that Pikachu Illustrator graded card, because that whole thing was ridiculous and became like the highest sold Pokemon card in history, which is pretty nuts.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. I think it's your turn. Ask me a question.
All right. This is another anime card question.
Okay.
So for Naruto, what was the first GP card that I pulled? So it's like those silver and red cards, like the case hits you get from Tier 1.
Oh, God.
Which character was the first GP that I pulled?
I might know.
Was it Sakura, Sasuke, Naruto, or Kakashi?
Oh, maybe I don't know. Oh, God. Okay, so it's all Team 7. So at least that's easy to think. God. I don't even know if they made a Naruto one, because I know, 'cause I have the Kakashi.
So this is when this is when I first started actually collecting Naruto. Shortly after I
Right.
got into getting Demon Slayer, I found out about those Naruto Kaiju cards from BAM Collectibles, and I decided to buy a box off of Amazon, and I ended up buying a Tier 1 box, and the one box that I bought off of Amazon, I pulled a GP out of it.
I want to say you were so disappointed in it, and you didn't really tell me about it, is why I don't remember. You pulled Sakura.
Yeah, I was wrong. It was actually Naruto.
Oh, okay. Jeez. Yeah, I don't
And
remember that.
Naruto was actually the first GP made in
Okay.
Naruto Kaiju. It was serial number 1. And fun fact, I actually don't have it anymore. I sold it to a kid at the STCC that we went to with Jason.
That's funny.
There was a kid and his dad that came up to our booth, and the dad was saying how the kid was getting into Naruto and stuff, and it was looking for, like, cards to start off his collection. And so of course I had some. I didn't have like a lot at the time, but I had a decent little bit starting up. And then I remembered I had that GP Naruto just sitting in there, and I think I sold it to him for like $15 or something. Like, I don't even remember if I even like sold it for that much, but because I think they bought some other ones too. But Naruto was the first GP card I ever pulled.
Nice. Yeah, definitely don't remember that at all. That's pretty cool. All right, so say we're beginning to another Pokemon question, another number question. So let me actually change one of these numbers just to make it a little bit easy. Okay, so here we go. So this will be a fun one. How many Pokemon cards are printed in a year? So this is going off of the Pokemon Company. They did a count from, I believe, March 2021 to 2022, and they counted how many cards went out in production. And so the options are 700 million, 5 billion, 9 billion, or 500 million.
Oh my god. Well, okay, so I'm definitely not considering any of the millions, because if I know Pokemon, especially from these last couple of years, they've been bumping up production for cards.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say it's either between 5 billion or 9 billion.
All
But
right.
9 billion to me just doesn't sound right, so I'm gonna go with 5 billion.
Well, you should have went with the latter, because they printed 9 billion cards within a year.
That's crazy. I mean, I knew it was in the billions. I was just trying to decide between one or the
Yeah,
two.
it's just like crazy. What, there's around 10 to 12 cards in a pack, and 36 packs in a booster box, and you gotta imagine all the booster boxes that get made, and all the different sets that get made, and within the world of Pokemon. It,
I was thinking like from that year, because that was the year right after COVID.
yep.
And so, like, I know because during COVID, there wasn't, like, a whole lot of Pokemon cards. Like, they weren't printing enough. So I
Right.
figured maybe after that year, they would have started bumping up production, like, a good bit. But then definitely this past year, I would have considered that to be like the year they would have done 9 billion. So that's where my thought process was. I was figuring like, okay, the year after COVID, they would have definitely bumped up their numbers and like they would have hit like at least 5 billion, and like it would have been right around that mark. And then like this past year would have been like, okay, then they started bumping it up even more and started printing more stuff. So okay,
Right.
makes sense.
Yep. But yep, they have done 9 billion between the years of 21 and 22, and it's probably only going up from there.
Yeah, that's
Um,
insane. That's crazy.
but all right, time for your next question for moi.
All right. What type of cards do I have graded the most? Is it Pokemon, anime, Yu-Gi-Oh, or sports?
So definitely not sports. I know you have a couple. You have a couple great ones. You have a couple tens that are like hollow labels, and those are really cool. Zion and Jubreeze.
Yep.
Um, Yu-Gi-Oh! You have a little bit of. It's definitely not the most quantitative amount that you have. Use a college word there. And then you said anime and Pokemon
Yep.
that you have like in your personal collection, or just
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like in general. Pokemon, I know you
Yeah.
have a decent amount. You have like some Greninjas. You have the Rayquaza VMAX Alt Art 10. Um, you have
Because you
the
got to remember, like when I first started grading with TGA, I was only really submitting Pokemon cards at
right.
first.
I know, and you were like selling some of them as well.
Right.
But then I
Yeah, but
know.
honestly, if I wouldn't have sold some of the ones that I have in the past, then I probably would have a bit more than I do
Yeah, because
now.
I know you have two sets of your teams that you won in the Nuzlocke, so that's like 12 right off the bat there. And then you have like for anime, you have some for like Tengen and Naruto. Um, so I feel like I'm gonna go with my gut and say Pokemon.
Oh, it is actually anime.
Mm.
So with all the so like because you got to remember too, like recently I started submitting all of the cards for like Minato. Like I pretty much have all of the different Minato like rarities graded,
Oh, Jesus, I
and
forgot.
and then I started submitting cards for like Attack on Titan, My Hero, Demon Slayer. I started submitting a couple of cards for that. Um, yeah, so as far as like all the mix of like anime cards that I have, I definitely have more anime cards graded right
Yeah,
now than
that makes
Pokemon.
sense. I could have factored in some of that stuff as well that you hadn't sold yet either. All
Yep.
right, well, hey, this will be appropriate because this is probably the one and only personal question I threw in there.
Oh
Um,
boy, I have a shot.
maybe. It depends on how much you look at my shelves.
Right.
How many alternate art TGA Pristine 10s do I currently own? Do I
Alt
have,
arts.
yeah, Alt Art Pristine 10 Pokemon cards graded by TGA?
Oh
Do I
god.
have 7, 4, 9, or 2?
Definitely not two.
Okay.
'Cause I remember when you first started like grading like cards with them, like you were always getting tens. Like every time you sent a submission in, like at least like half of your submission came back tens.
I definitely
So
got
I
at
definitely,
least one or two, and that was
and I definitely know that you've like either purchased or like you've done trades with people probably. So like I'm sure that you've gotten other ones other than the ones that you
yeah,
sent in yourself.
and I do want to say it is the ones I currently have right now. So like ones
Right.
I've
Right.
possibly sold or anything do not count.
Yeah. Okay. Um, I'm gonna go with lucky number 7.
It is not lucky for you because it is incorrect, and I actually only have 4 right now. And if I
Okay.
can look and see, I don't think I have the best views. I know I have a Urshifu VMAX alternate art 10 that I just had for a while in my collection. And then I bought an Urshifu, I forget if it's a single strike. Um, it's like the one he's holding like the big boulder over his head.
Right. Right.
I actually bought at the card shop that one of my coworkers from TGA worked at, and just like flipping through a binder, and it was in there, and I was like, "Oh, this is a really cool card. I like this a lot," and bought it, and because it looked great. That's the main reason I bought it. Because I love the artwork, but also because I was like, "Oh, this could possibly be a 10," and thankfully it got a 10. It was really awesome and not expensive at all. Just out of that binder. Then I have the B Drill alternate art 10, And I love that card. That card is awesome. Beedrill is one of my top favorites, especially from the base set. And then the Blaziken VMAX alternate art, which is like the holy grail of my graded cards. So those are the four that I currently, because I had a Zera Aura V alternate art 10 that I had traded, and I can't remember if I've had any others in my collection. Because most of the time I love just hanging on to those cards. Like, alt art 10s are pretty rare and pretty awesome.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Alrighty.
Yep. So your turn to ask me a question, sir.
Alright, I think this is one of the only main Yu-Gi-Oh questions I have.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've told you this story before. I don't know how many times, or if you even remember me telling you this story.
Oh boy.
What was the Yu-Gi-Oh monster that I used to win a duel against Jonathan when we were kids? And this is an unofficial duel. This is a kind of a thing where we were playing basically like the game of war that you would with a regular deck of cards.
Right.
And we were doing that with monsters, and it came down to our last few cards.
Oh, so it wouldn't be it wouldn't be like Exodia or anything.
No, it wasn't an official we weren't doing an official duel. We were basically just playing war, and I happened to have this one last monster at the end to win.
Okay.
All right. So the options are Dark Magician, Baby Dragon, Flame Swordsman, or the Time Wizard.
So it would have to be some. So did you actually play by the card?
No. Like I said, we were literally just pulling cards from our deck, and then whoever just had
whoever had more attack and the weaker defense would just kill them and win.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Dark Magician's pretty solid overall. Time Wizard, I think he has more ability aspects to him other than brute force, but also depends on what Jonathan drew. If he just got a dud, because I know we've talked about Time Wizard before. Flame Swordsman's also pretty good. Oh man, Toon Dragon kind of is eh. I will go with Dark Magician.
It was actually Time Wizard.
Oh my god, that was I was literally wanting to say Time Wizard because of how silly it is.
Yeah, so the funny story about that is, so when we were flipping our cards and stuff, Jonathan had already used up his last monster in his deck. And I think since he had won the last bout between our monsters that we had, that if I didn't pull a monster from my very last card in my deck, then I would have been considered the loser. Because in his last card he didn't have a monster; it was a magic or spell card, so he couldn't use it.
Well, I didn't know that was a part of the game.
Yeah, so that's how we did it. We just did it for fun, and that's how we did it. But yeah, so we were playing in the living room, and this is back when we lived in the house in Jacksonville.
Right.
We were playing in the living room at the table. And I was down to my last card. And so when I flipped the card, I saw it was Time Wizard, and I slapped that bad boy on the table. And I was like, time magic!
Oh my god.
And I won the duel. It was so, I was so happy. It was so funny. We were just both dying laughing. We just thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I used Time Wizard as my final monster to win a duel. Unofficially.
Right. That's pretty silly. That definitely makes sense. All right, so now getting back to the numbers questions. I know these are your favorite, but it's not Pokemon. It's Attack on Titan, and it is how much. So I looked this up right before we started. How much did the most recent Mikasa Black Label 10 SP sell for on eBay? And we have $540, $990, $780, or $610.
Yeah.
You lost. There's no way. Yeah, I have been like tuning my ears to being like, is he like gonna typo?
No, I was joking. All right, I wasn't even listening because I was
through your door to see like a little bit of light from your phone turn on and be like, oh.
I was really trying to sell that bit just now. Just typing the keyboard. Tell me the numbers again.
You got 540, 990, 780, or 610. And this is a Black Label Beckett Perfect 10 SP of the best character in Attack on Titan, Mikasa.
Can I ask if it was sold on auction?
It was.
Okay. Because, like, I was thinking, I was like, I mean, how would anyone spend less than, like, 1,000 on that? Like, that just sounds ridiculous. So, like, when you said 990, and I was, like, thinking, I was like, well, that would probably be, like, if someone, like, sold it, like, right under 1,000, then someone would probably sell that for, like, a listing price. Give me the numbers one more time. I'm trying to remember.
540, 990, 780, or 610.
Oh gosh. Like I want to say the 991 just because that makes the most sense. But in my heart of hearts, I feel like someone got a massive steal and people just weren't watching the like auction or something, or someone just couldn't spend a certain amount of money. I'm gonna go with 610.
Ooh, so it actually was 780.
Okay. Still though, I mean I feel like that's a steal, bro. 780 for a Black Label 10.
Yeah, and what's
SP Mikasa.
Yeah,
that's
what
crazy.
sucks? Remember I was telling you about that Black Label SP Kirito that sold for I think under $300. And,
yeah, that's insane.
And I was like, I cannot believe I was not by my phone when this sale. It's who knows what that guy had like a high bid of. Could have been like 500 or something. You know, still like reasonable, but higher than the 260 it sold for or whatever it was. But
right.
Of like my first, main character of an anime show that I've watched. One of my top all-time favorites of a Black Label SP. And it's sold for a ridiculously affordable price for what that kind of card is.
Right, that and plus like the fact that it's so hard to get Black Labels on Beckett cards, and the fact that the Black Label matches so well with any kind of card with Kirito because like his main color is black, so
yep.
Like that whole thing just matches really well.
Yep. So yeah, someone got a massive steal with Mikasa, and someone got an even crazier deal with that Kirito that I saw.
Yeah, it's just the only thing that like since like Asuna's also like a pretty big character in that show that like since she's also like a waifu essentially, like everyone would rather collect her than
Kirito. It's always it's just the arguable thing that like, she's the more sought after and collectible character in anything that they make. It's because like that is more of like what people seek out. It's not so much the main character, like the male character. It's always just like the female protagonist. Also because she's a complete badass. Like she's super cool and can easily hold her own ground as well. So no, that's like.
I feel like every anime has that one like female character that like everyone like either swoons over or just like finds like to be like their favorite and stuff. Because I know like as far as like profitable. It seems like Tsunade for Naruto is probably like the most like profitable like female character. Like next to like Hinata, it's definitely Tsunade. Right. I feel like is definitely up there because like all of her cards go for like crazy prices. Even like just like raw value, like her cards go for stupid amounts.
And I'm glad I don't really like her all that much because I would be sad boy if I had to go.
Yeah, I don't mind her as far as like a character. I've heard her voice actress is very nice, and she started recently going to conventions and stuff this like past year.
Yeah.
I heard she's like a very sweet lady. So and like she almost kind of like looks like her too. Like,
yeah, I have seen what she looks like. It's kind of funny. I like when the people actually kind of look like the characters they voice.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
All
right. Okay. What Naruto character did I get my first 10 with TGA? Was it Kakashi, Sasuke, Kiba, or Shikamaru?
It was Kiba.
No. Well, I mean, it's so you're technically right. So
Because it
So
was in like
Kiba
it's
was
that mystery bag, right?
yeah. So technically, Kiba was my first 10 that I got because of the fact that I got it through a mystery pack. But then like a secondary answer I would have accepted was Sasuke because that was the first one that I submitted that ended up getting a 10.
So is that like half a
Um,
point?
sure, I'll give you a half a
Yes.
point. Yeah.
Awesome.
So technically
Technicality.
Kiba was, but I don't have it because I ended up giving it to a friend in a giveaway. Um, so yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, but technically that was the first one, but it just wasn't one that I sent in for myself. It was the one I got in the
Okay.
mystery pack.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely remember that one, and that was pretty cool. It was like the ZR. Was
No, it was a UR, I think.
Oh, okay.
But I think like it was like right around the time when we were like talking to Jason
Mm-hmm.
about Naruto and stuff, and he had ended up getting like like a handful of boxes and stuff, and so I guess like they had like extra hits that they opened from other boxes that he got, and so they were able to make some mystery packs with some of the hits that they had from the other boxes.
Right. That's cool.
That is something I would love to do, like because I have like a good bit of like just spare like Naruto Kaiju cards sitting around. I would love to try to send some to them so that way they could like try to make some more mystery packs with them and stuff. 'Cause I think that'd be a really cool
Yep.
thing for them to do. Um,
Definitely.
yeah.
All right. So I have three questions remaining. Only one of them is another tough numbers question. The other two are a bit easier.
Okay.
So let's.
Give me to the two easy ones first, and then leave the like really hard one for last.
Okay. Well, I said easy. This one just isn't a number. This one isn't a number question.
Okay.
Um, so,
Thank God.
what athlete has the most expensive trading cards sold of them? So there is like the most expensive trading card that's been sold, and which athlete was it? Was
Okay.
it Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, or Jackie Robinson?
Um. God, I wish I knew more about baseball. Um. I mean, they're all like very high, like collectible players to have, especially from like just for the era that they're from and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall there ever being like a really high priced Babe Ruth card. I'm sure Jackie Robinson's had some cards that have probably gone for a lot. Just from the fact that I only really mostly know about, I don't even know who that other random dude was. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever heard of him before. Um, but I would probably just go with my gut and just say Michael Jordan.
It's sadly the guy you've never heard of before.
Probably why.
And good old Honus Wagner.
Who is that?
He's a baseball player.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So you gave me three baseball players and then Michael Jordan.
This is correct.
Oh my gosh.
To throw you off your game, man.
You could have like given me one football one. You could have just given me like Tom Brady or something.
No, I thought that would have been even more confusing. Then you're competing with two baseballs, a football, a bat. You three baseballs, and the greatest
I
basketball
figured you
player
would
ever.
give me like one of each. Like you give me like a soccer, baseball, basketball, and
I'm
football.
trying to just make it dumber. I don't know. You put too much brain juice into that.
Uh huh.
All right. What's your next question, good sir?
All right. How many TGA 10s do I have?
Oh God.
Is it 20, 23, 27, or 19?
See, you're taking a page out of my book here. You're getting mean, is what you're doing. I would hate to start counting in my head the ones you actually have. I'm going to say, oh God, 20.
Ooh, close. It was actually 23.
Ah,
'Cause I literally counted right before we started to make sure I had the right number.
that's funny. Yeah, I mean, I know you have a decent bit now, especially with like the Caillou cards, and those cards are being made in some really good quality.
Yep, yeah, it's definitely helped because I only managed to get like a few cards like here and there for Pokemon that were graded 10s.
Right.
And yeah, so then like most of the other 10s I have are from anime, whether they're like My Hero, Like the first handful of like Attack on Titan cards I sent, Jesus, got tens. Like two of them, like the Levi and Mikasa cards I sent, got tens. Um, and then another Levi triple rare that I sent got a 10 as well.
Yep, I remember that one. It was cool.
And I have the Japanese SP Levi card I'm planning to send in soon. And I pray that would get a 10 because that'd be amazing.
Right.
If all the Levi cards I send get 10s, that'd be really nice.
That would be really cool.
But yeah, so yeah, I just recently counted and I have 23 right now.
Nice. I wonder if I even have. I'm sure I have like close to that amount because I have a good bit of like the full art trainer tens, like those alternate arts, the Kakashi ones from Caillou. Because I haven't sent in as much Caillou as you have.
Right.
So I know I could probably be up in my game in the tens with that, but yeah, who knows? Who knows? By the next submission, I'll be sending in all Caillou. So here's hoping for that. All right. So this is. My last two questions do have numbers in their answer, but this is the easier-ish number one. And it is when did My Hero Universes release? What year did My Hero CCG come out? Was it 2021, 2019, 2020, or 2018?
I'm going to go with 2019.
It was 2020.
Ah, I was thinking that too, but I was like, maybe the
was-
base set came out like just right before that at 2019.
And sadly, it came out in May of 2020 in the heap of COVID.
God, what an awful time to drop a TCG set too.
Yep. It was also probably why it's worth a lot because like not a whole lot of people got their hands on it, or they just got it like shipped to their houses and they wanted to open it, and so not a whole lot of like sealed and.
It's so sad too. I was like, I'm sitting here like with my eyes closed. I'm just listening to the options you're giving me, and like when you first said like 2021, I was like shaking my head no, and then like as the moment in my head I heard 2019, I'm sitting here shaking my head like, yep, that's it, that's it,
That's the one.
Dang
It's
it!
gotta be it.
Like a lot of these, I feel like I'm just so close. I'm like just barely.
Yeah,
off.
you are
Like,
getting
earlier-
really close on like a lot of the
Like,
answers.
like earlier when you asked me like how many cards TGA is graded, I said 52,000, but it was like barely over 51,000. And I did get the first one though with the first year that the Japanese started printing for Pokemon. I got that one. So
Yeah, you have like a good logic based approach to a lot of these. It's just like kind of up in the air if you're not up to date with the answers.
I just honestly like when we said we were gonna come up with questions, I really thought we were just gonna be coming up with like both like personal questions. I didn't realize you're gonna be hitting me with like Jeopardy type difficult like random number questions.
I wanted the people listening to also be able to participate. If they listen to a couple guys that are just like, "Hey, what's my favorite card?" It's like, "Oh, it's this one." They're just kind of sitting there like, "Oh, I don't care really all that much."
Right? No, I understand. It's just like my head, like that's what I was thinking.
I mean, what's
like,
sad is that I think we're neck and neck. Like, I don't think I've gotten many right. I know you've gotten at least a couple, but like a lot of these, again, like you're just like really close to the money, but just a tad bit off.
Yeah.
Right.
So
is this your last question?
This is the second to last.
Okay.
So I think because then once I finish this one, then we each have one left.
Yep.
Because I had you go first. All right. What's my lowest graded card? And then this one comes with a bonus question if you can tell me what character it is on the card.
Okay.
So what's my lowest graded card? Is it a 2.5, a 1.5, a 3.5, or a 4?
I'm gonna say it's a. It's a 2.5.
Yep, it is a 2.5. And can you tell me? So I'll give you a hint.
Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
It's Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, it's a character from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh my god! Is it Slifer the Sky Dragon?
Oh, okay. So before you actually guess, I was going to give you like another hint to help you.
Well, okay, go ahead.
It's a fusion monster.
Oh god.
I feel like that might actually help you a bit. It's a fusion monster.
I'm trying to remember, like...
It's probably, like, my all-time favorite fusion monster out of, like, almost any of them. And it's an original. This is my last hint. It's an original fusion monster, so it's like from like the OG Naruto.
Is it?
Not Naruto. Jesus, I just said Naruto. It's from the OG Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, like we're talking about all these different animes that had
Does it
Naruto.
start with an O?
An O?
Yeah, I'm guessing
No.
not.
I'm also curious what you were thinking.
Don't ask, because
The only thing I could think of that you were thinking of was Obelisk, but that's an Egyptian god card.
right. The oh god.
And this is just for bonus. Like you already got the question
Yeah,
right. This is just to earn yourself a bonus point.
I got no clue.
It is Black Skull Dragon.
I knew it was a dragon. That's why I was like, "Oh, Slifer, the Sky Dragon." You're like, "What, you idiot!"
Because, like, honestly, I was thinking about even bringing it down to a 50-50, and I was going to give you either Thousand Dragon or Black Skull Dragon.
Yeah, because I feel like if you would have told me that, then I definitely would have gotten it. Because I now that you said Black Skull Dragon, I remember it being like that black dragon. Because I knew it was a dragon, but then I couldn't think of like the fusion dragons. Like which one is he like? Okay.
Yeah, because because I do have I have like an old secret rare Thousand Dragon that I want to probably get graded at some point. Because I want to start looking at some other like monsters and stuff that I don't have graded yet. Cause I need to like actually like send in like a full set of the Egyptian gods again, because some of the grades I got in my previous ones were not that good. So hopefully with like a newer set, hopefully I'll get better grades on them.
Okay.
So, but yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna say screw this last question for me. I'm gonna change it because I feel like I've given you some pretty tough ones. I want you to get a chance of getting another right answer. But I'll leave it as like an additional like if you want to take a stab at it you can. But I'll throw in a personal question, and so it'll be what was the most recent Blaziken card I got back in the submission that we did together. If you can remember what Blaziken card it was, and as a bonus question, what the grade of it was.
Okay, so I remember it was the Blaziken V alt art that had May in it.
So I think so it's not called alternate art. I know it's like something different, but yes, that is exactly the card that it was.
It's like a trainer gallery card.
Yeah,
basically.
yep. So you got 1 point there for getting the card.
And the only other thing I remember is that it didn't actually get that good of a grade that you thought it did.
Yeah, I was expecting like a 10.
Because when you bought it from the from Fan Expo that we went to, is that where you got it from? Fan Expo?
I got it from Fan Expo.
Yeah, because there was a booth at like toward one of the ends where there was like a little corner spot that someone had some cards.
And it looked minty.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I remember I looked at it with you and it looked pretty good. And the dude was selling it for like $15 or something.
Yeah, it was a good price.
Yeah. So. I feel like this is gonna be another thing where I'm just gonna be like slightly off, but I'm gonna say it was an 8.5.
Oh, you are slightly. I was a 9.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. Yeah. I was like, I could have sworn I remember it having a 0.5 at the end of it, and like we were just like so shocked, and then like,
nope. I mean, I was still shocked. I mean, a 9 is good, but I was like, it didn't even get a 9.5. Like, I would have been jazzed with that. Like, sweet, but. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there must have just been something on it that we missed.
So this isn't for points, but do you remember the color label I got with it?
The color label. Red.
Nope, it was blue.
Oh, okay.
Because I usually like to match if there's like the sky in cards. I like going with blue to kind of blend into it. But yeah, pretty much all my other ones, except for like 2, are red. The other 2 are yellow.
Gotcha.
But yeah, sorry. So you got it correct on the card. So I will throw out the stupid question. Well, it's not stupid, but you don't know the answer off the top of your head, and but I'll still let you get a point if you guess it correctly. And it's how many Pikachu cards have been made in Pokemon? And it's 176, 189, 207. Or 289.
Oh my god. Yeah, because you have to consider like all of like the common cards and everything they've made for Pikachu. Oh my god!
And it
And then, like,
also goes into
does this include like also like people that have just made like illustration cards of Pikachu as well? Like anything that's made for the
anything
official.
official Pokemon also that Pikachu's been featured in.
Oh my god!
So it goes 176, 189, 207, or 289.
Oh my god! I'm gonna say 207.
It is the lowest one at 176.
Oh, I thought it'd be way more than that. I figured they would have like thrown. Okay,
Yeah,
like, I know Pikachu's included with like other like Pokemon and stuff too. I think like there's other like cards that have like other Pokemon where Pikachu's like in the picture.
yeah, because
For,
I
like,
kind
part
of
of the
changed up
card.
like the multiple choices. Okay, I'm gonna leave the big number answer at the lowest amount. I'm just gonna bump up all the other like fake answers, but I mean, they're all still believable. Like 289, like yeah, out of all of Pokemon, all official, that would make sense for Pikachu, the
Because they literally
mascot.
they literally include Pikachu in like every set.
Yeah,
Like
but
whether it's like a common or a hollow, it's like Pikachu's literally in every single set they've ever made.
and they made like 5 of those Ashes Pikachu little like art cards and
Like
stuff. And,
Pikachu has its own like full arts, like
yep,
VMAX cards, like
there's a lot.
promos, like it's like literally in everything.
Yep, only up to now 176.
That's funny.
But
All right,
all right, yep. Go ahead and hit me with your final question, good sir.
all right. The final question, and this is one of your favorites. It includes numbers.
I love
How
numbers. I
many?
got a D in college algebra.
And like I said, I literally just counted this. Like this is what it took me a minute because I had to count a couple things. I had to count how many tens I had, and then for this one,
Oh
how
God,
many total TGA slabs do I have?
you are a mean person.
Is it 95, 101, 110, or 140?
You counted this?
Okay, this is gonna take me a minute. I needed to count all the ones I had.
I'm going based on the last logic of your multiple choice question. I'm saying 110.
Close, 101.
Uh,
I really sat there and counted all the ones I had, and I had to like look around to make sure because I didn't include the ones that I just have encapsulated. I only have the ones that I have like
Yeah,
graded.
right.
So
Okay, dang. I don't even know if I have a 100. I probably got close.
well, I think you might because you have some that aren't even like displayed, right?
I got a handful of them. I actually like took out some of the other ones and put them on display. But yeah, they line up like almost all like the drawer, say like the shelves that I have.
Right.
I have a good bit. Then I have some that are not TGA. That they're like the ones from China. And then I sent off some other cards to get graded. So probably in total, I'd be close to 100. And I have a couple PSAs and the SGCs and but yeah, from like TGA, I might be closer to 75 if I had to guess.
Yeah,
But
because I also think about like the couple of times I've also like sent in submissions like myself and stuff and just
mhm.
um put in my
Like
own.
in total, yeah, I've probably done well over like 100 cards, but I probably
Yeah, because yeah, and like I've definitely had more than the current amount that I have too. Because like I've definitely sold some in the past, and so
all right. Well, you want to count out the official number of correct answers we got.
let's see. So you got the one right for Jigglypuff. So that was one. Let's see.
Oh boy.
Uh, yeah, you guessed the correct one for what did I collect the most as a kid?
Yep.
That was two.
I got the 2.5 grade correct.
Yep.
Was there any other questions I got right?
The one where my first 10 character of Naruto.
That's like a 0.5.
I'll give you the point for that one because that one was kind of a tricky question.
Okay, so that's 4. I think
Yeah.
that might be it, huh?
Yeah, because did you already count what the one for the lowest graded card?
Yep. So that's 4
Okay, yeah.
in total. So that's it?
Yep. I think so.
Well, it would have been funnier if I won by half a point because you got 3 correct. I would have loved to win by the stupid 0.5 that I vouch for.
It's funny.
But I will say, like, I don't know, because, like, you had good questions, and, like, they were personalized that I probably should have known the answers to, more or less. But, yeah, because like, you were always pretty close with a lot of these numbered questions.
Some of them I was literally, like, barely off. Like, I was, like, I was so close to, like, considering one of the other options.
Right, because I would almost give you the half a point thing for, like, the 52,000, because, like, it was over 51,000, but it was super close to it.
Right.
And then you just got really close.
Yeah, it was closer. It was closer to, like, round down to 51,000 than it was to round it. Like, because if it was like 51,642 or something, then then I obviously would have been closer with 52,000. But yeah, it was like barely over 51,000. So
yeah, but I at the end of the day, I think we're all we're both idiots. We're both just we we probably don't know as much as we probably should. But at the end of the day, I don't care because we had a whole bunch of fun today shooting this episode and recording it, getting to know some stuff about Ryan and his collecting, and having some fun little trivia being thrown at ourselves as well as everyone listening. And guys, as always, we thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate it. And as always, if you want it pristine, you got to keep it clean. See y'all in the next episode.
Have a good one.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jordan, Darkest Night here at the end of the podcast doing the token question of the day. And my question is, have y'all ever done any trivia nights before with cards or collecting, anything that you're interested in? Have you ever done it with friends? I know I loved listening to Star Wars trivia when I was driving from Louisiana to New Hampshire and back. It was a really fun way to test my love of Star Wars and keep my brain active while I was awake for 12 plus hours driving every day. And it's a lot of fun. So let us know if you participate in trivia. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it, and you always get to learn something new and test your friends with. So yeah, guys, as always, if you want it pristine, you got to keep it clean. See you in the next episode.